Imagine a moment, a single profound realization that shifts the axis of your world. Close your eyes and journey with me beyond the familiar boundaries of your identity into a space where illusion shatters and truth, luminous and unyielding, emerges from the darkness. Tonight we traverse the hidden realms of the self, peeling away the layers of falsehood until only the pure, unconditioned light remains. For centuries we have carried the weight of the ego, the constructed image, the mask of separateness that keeps us imprisoned in our own illusions. We dress ourselves in titles, roles, and names, believing them to be the solid foundation of our existence. But what if I told you that this carefully constructed fortress is not only fragile but also the very barrier that distances us from the divine flow of life? In the stillness of the night, when the clamor of everyday thoughts fades into the background, there exists a profound truth, a secret whispered by the ancients hidden in symbols and myths. The self we see is but a mirage. It is a collection of beliefs, fears, and memories, a fleeting shadow dancing on the walls of a vast, infinite cave. We build our temples out of moments and emotions, and in doing so, we mistake the transient for the eternal. Ask yourself, who are you beyond the fleeting labels and transient roles? In every heartbeat, in every breath, there is an echo of something far greater. A cosmic presence that binds the universe together. The realization of your boundless nature is like standing at the edge of a precipice, feeling the pull of gravity while embracing the infinite sky above. It is here in the borderland between illusion and truth that the ego begins to crumble. Picture yourself as a wanderer lost in a labyrinth of mirror-like reflections. With every turn you catch fleeting glimpses of yourself, each image distorted by pride, fear, desire, and doubt. These reflections, though they seem solid, are but ephemeral forms, crafted by conditioned thought and habitual emotion. They are the mirage of a permanent self in a world that is ever-changing, ever-flowing. As you step deeper into this maze, you encounter doors marked with ancient symbols, keys that promise liberation. One door bears the image of a rising sun, a symbol of awakening and rebirth. Another, a spiraling vortex, invites you to surrender and dissolve into the vast ocean of existence. With each step, the labyrinth unfolds, revealing hidden passageways of introspection, echoing with the silent hymn of a truth waiting to be embraced. In your silent journey, you begin to sense the breath of infinity in every moment. The boundaries that once separated you from the world dissolve. The thought that I am separate crumbles like brittle stone under the weight of a deeper knowing. A shift stirs within, a subtle yet unyielding call to let go of all that you have constructed about yourself. Then, amid the stillness, there comes a moment of divine clarity. A spark that lights up the darkness. In that spark, you understand that the ego, with all its illusions, is nothing more than a veil. It is a temporary construct, a story written by the mind to provide a sense of security. Yet like all stories, it too can be rewritten, its chapters erased by the wisdom of direct experience. This realization crashes over you like a tidal wave of truth. The self you have always known is an illusion. In its place, there is a vast, unbounded awareness, a limitless expanse where thoughts, emotions, and sensations ripple like gentle waves on an endless ocean. Here, the idea of I and mine melt away, replaced by a luminous, radiant presence that is inseparable from every breath, every star, every moment. Consider the profound implications of this awakening. With the collapse of the ego, you no longer define yourself by your successes or failures, your triumphs or your regrets. You become the observer, the witness. Imagine a moment, a single profound realization that shifts the axis of why you become the observer, the witness to every fleeting emotion and thought. In that observant stillness you find a profound peace, for you recognize that the true essence of your being is not confined to the tiny contours of your personal identity. It is the vast, luminous field of consciousness, inexhaustible and eternal. When this realization takes hold, it is as if the walls of your internal prison shatter, scattering the debris of old self-images into the wind. What remains is nothing less than your raw, authentic being, a self that is free from the constraints of fear, judgment, and illusion. In that moment of clarity, you feel the earth beneath you, the pulse of the cosmos around you, and your very soul resonates with the profound simplicity of existence. Imagine a sculptor standing before a grand block of marble. For years he has chiseled away at the stone, compelled by a vision of beauty hidden within. One day, with a single decisive stroke, he reveals not merely a form carved from stone, but the truth that the sculpture was always there, waiting to be set free. This is the essence of collapsing the ego, a courageous act of surrender, a determination to let go of all that no longer serves your highest truth. It is important to understand that this collapse is not an act of destruction, but an act of creation. In letting go of the constructed ego, you open the gateway to your true self. This new self is not defined by the limitations of labels or the boundaries of a finite identity. Instead, it is an ever-unfolding expression of love, wisdom, and unity. The realization that the ego is an illusion paves the way for an inner metamorphosis, a rebirth that is both gentle and revolutionary. As you continue on this journey, every encounter, every experience becomes imbued with fresh meaning. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. The mundane details of everyday life acquire a mystical sheen, as if you are witnessing a grand dance in which every particle of existence plays a part. Suddenly, the soft murmur of the wind, the tender glow of a candle, even the quiet rustle of leaves reveal themselves as sacred symbols, each one echoing the harmony of a cosmic orchestra. This newfound perspective frees you from the relentless pressure to prove yourself, to chase accomplishments and accolades that once seemed indispensable to your identity. The realization that there is no permanent I allows you to experience life with open-hearted generosity and boundless compassion. In this state of liberated awareness, the natural flow of life guides you, and every action is a step in an unending journey toward greater wholeness. You become like the ancient sages who, through years of meditation and sacrifice, discovered that all of existence is interconnected. Their wisdom whispers to you from the depths of time that true mastery is not about accumulating power or clinging to a rigid sense of self, but about embracing the fluid, ever-changing tapestry of life. And in that embrace, the ego dissolves like dew under the morning sun. Living with this awareness is both a liberation and a daily challenge. Every moment offers you a choice: to retreat into the familiar confines of the ego, or to rise into the expansive awareness of your true nature. In the quiet moments of reflection, whether in solitude or amidst the bustling rhythm of life, you are gently reminded that each thought, each emotion, is like a wave on a vast ocean. No single ripple defines the ocean. You are the vast ocean itself, fluid and unbound. With this understanding, compassion naturally arises. You begin to see the same struggle in others, the same desperate clinging to a fragile self. This newfound empathy acts as a beacon guiding you to connect with others not through judgment or expectation, but through the shared beauty of mutual liberation. In every interaction, there is an invitation to gently dissolve the walls that divide, to see the reflection of the eternal in every soul you encounter. Every experience, even the painful ones, becomes a teacher. The wounds of the past, once held tight as proof of separation and pain, transform into tender marks of wisdom. Maps that guide you back to the present moment where the eternal now vibrates with silent truth. In this light, forgiveness becomes not a mere act but a sacred ritual of release, a conscious decision to set aside the weight of old narratives and step boldly into the realm of infinite possibility. As you stand at this threshold where the ego has collapsed and a new clarity is born, a vision unfolds before you. The universe, once perceived as a collection of isolated moments and isolated selves, this realization is not fleeting. It is a call to action. It is an invitation to live boldly, to embrace uncertainty, and to find grace in each unfolding moment. With every step, you are invited to discard the old illusions that have bound you, and to step into the vast, luminous field of being. Let this truth seep into every crevice of your existence, transforming your decisions, your relationships, and the very way you experience the world. Visualize for a moment a great river coursing through a rugged landscape, a river that has, over millennia, carved deep canyons and nurtured life along its banks. This river is your being, flowing with timeless wisdom, powerful yet gentle, unstoppable and ever-renewing. It does not concern itself with the illusion of boundaries or the transient momentary struggles. It simply flows, guided by an innate wisdom far beyond the narrow confines of the ego. In embracing this profound realization, the call to surrender is not a call to defeat, but to rise into a higher state of awareness. Surrender in this context means releasing the attachments, the narratives, the ceaseless chatter of the mind that insist on defining you through separation. It means trusting in the process of life, acknowledging that every end is also a beginning, a sacred cycle of death and rebirth. And so, with each breath, you may feel a subtle shift, a softening of the boundaries, a tender opening where the light of truth spills through. What may have once seemed a loss of identity, a loss of control, reveals itself as the most liberating of gifts. In letting go, you open the door to a life where every moment is imbued with the joy of discovery, where the seeming chaos of existence is revealed as the dance of creation. This is the transformative power of one realization, that the ego, with all its limitations, is not the essence of who you truly are. It is a temporary illusion, a mirage that, once seen for what it is, evaporates into the dawn of a new understanding. With the collapse of the ego, you awaken to the eternal presence within, a radiant, unchanging awareness that is the true fountain of life. Let this vision remain with you long after these words fade into the silence of your mind. Know that the journey toward this realization is not marked by sudden epiphanies alone, but by a gentle, persistent transformation. A gradual peeling away of what no longer serves your highest truth. Each day, each moment is an opportunity to return to this truth, to remember that you are not defined by the fleeting dramas of the external world, but by an intrinsic light that shines eternally. In this new vision, compassion, humility, and wisdom are not simply virtues to be admired from afar. They become the very essence of your being. You come to realize that to collapse the ego is to witness the infinite beauty of your own nature, a beauty that transcends fear, that laughs in the face of limitations, and that welcomes every experience as a part of the divine play of existence. As you continue your journey, may you carry with you the understanding that every encounter, every trial, is an invitation to shed the old layers of the ego and embrace a life of unbounded possibility. The revelation of oneness, the recognition that you are both the drop and the ocean, both the spark and the flame, calls you to live with authenticity, courage, and love. I invite you now to step into this truth. Allow it to wash over you like a cleansing rain, dissolving the hardened contours of the ego. Embrace the mystery of your true self, the ever-present consciousness that dances with life in every sunrise and whispers its secrets in every dusk. Let the light of this realization guide you through the shadows, leading you to a realm where boundaries vanish and the whole cosmos is an intimate part of your being. For within the collapse of the ego lies not loss but the genesis of a grand awakening, a state where you are no longer confined by the limits of a constructed identity. In its place blossoms a radiant presence, an infinite wellspring of love, creativity, and profound connection. It is in this state that you begin to see life not as a series of isolated episodes, but as a continuous sacred unfolding, a tapestry woven together by the threads of shared humanity and universal truth. As the echoes of this realization resonate deep within your soul, remember that the journey is not about attaining perfection or adhering to rigid ideals. It is about the gentle, ongoing process of returning to your true essence, a return that is as natural and inevitable as the changing of the seasons. In this return, every moment becomes a sacred act, every breath a prayer of gratitude, and every encounter a reflection of the divine. Now, as we approach the close of this reflection, let your heart be light and your spirit open. The one realization that will collapse your ego is not a destination, but an invitation, a call to dissolve into the grand, mysterious dance of existence, where the self is no longer a fixed point of separation, but a luminous spark within the eternal flame. Allow this truth to guide you as you walk through each day, to remind you in moments of doubt that you are, at your core, an eternal traveler on an ever-unfolding path of discovery. Embrace the mystery, cherish the unknown, and let every experience be a stepping stone toward deeper freedom and boundless love. Step forward now, with open eyes and an open heart. Let this realization collapse the walls that separate you from the vast, interconnected mystery of life. In doing so, you become both the seeker and the sage, the artist and the masterpiece, a luminous reflection of the divine unfolding in every moment. May these words echo in your mind as a reminder that the power to transform, to break free from the confines of the ego lies within you. Embrace the mystery, surrender to the wonder, and step boldly into the luminous expanse of your true being.